Hey all, it's Dr. Nick back. Just finished a run. Maybe one of these days I won't be sweaty as I made one of these videos, but today's not that day. What I want to talk about today is a little bit different than what I've done in my last couple of videos. I want to talk about why I do this and why I run. Why I run these races, why I run these marathons, why I do these obstacle course races. I've had a lot of people tell me, oh, you're crazy, or it's insane, oh, I could never do something like that. And I want to try and convince you otherwise. And before I really get into the why, I want to give you a little bit of background. Growing up, I played all kinds of sports. I played football, I played basketball, tennis, soccer, and I was always the slowest kid on the team. Hated it. Hated running. I was always so slow. It made me feel horrible, and especially in soccer, I never really played. Basketball was a little different because I was taller, but that being said, I was always the slowest player on the team. And as a result of that, I always hated running. Now you're probably thinking, how can someone who hates running is doing all these sorts of races, which involves mainly running? Well, the why behind it is because it was hard and because it was uncomfortable early on. I wouldn't probably start running if I didn't see people do something and I was thinking, you know what, that looks fun. My best friend ran a Spartan race back in 2015 with his brother-in-law. I saw him do it. I thought, that doesn't look so bad. That looks really fun. I want to try it. And today I'm hooked, 7 years later. My first race was a Spartan Super in Pennsylvania, and it took us 4.5 hours to finish. That's like an 8-mile race, which is so slow, if you're asking me. Fast forward to now, my last Spartan race was last year in Colorado on a mountain as a beast, which was 14 miles. And I finished that in 3.5 hours, which I think was really impressive. So that's 4 more miles in cutting that time from 4.5 hours to 3.5 hours with more mileage, which is crazy. I also have to give a shout out to PT school. Before we started classes, we had a girl in our class post in our Facebook group say, who wants to run this half marathon with me? And a half marathon is something I've never done before and never would have thought of doing. But I figured, why not try it? The first half marathon I did, I ran in just over 2 hours or so. This past half marathon, the most recent one I did back in April, I ran in 1 hour and 45 minutes. And my fastest half marathon is 1 hour and 42 minutes. So again, from 2015 to now, shaving 20 minutes off my time in the same distance. And early on, it was really hard to get into something that I've always never really enjoyed. I used to start out running just as far as I could. And it didn't really matter the speed, but then I could only go 2 to 3 miles at a time before I need to stop and rest, and I'd walk for a while. When I lived back home, I would run out, again, as far as I could, stop and take a point look at my watch at that point, see how far I'd gone, and I'd walk for a ways for a bit. And I'd break it up like that to make it back home. Now I'm doing 12, 10, 8. I'll probably have to go up to 20 miles at some point in my training runs, and I'm feeling pretty good. Those are the types of runs I'm doing right now, and it wasn't always easy. I'm a much better runner now than I was when I first started out, and I'm still learning, about nutrition and cadence and all this fun stuff that goes into these sorts of things. That's the great thing about my profession. But the fact of the matter is, it was hard early on, and it was really difficult. And it used to be something I hated to do, and it was uncomfortable. But that's where growth happens. It's being uncomfortable, getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, and that's how you push yourself beyond what you can or can't do. And most importantly, what you believe you can't do. I never thought I'd be running this sort of distance, when I was younger or even in college. And now I truly do love it, and I truly want to help people love it, just like me. And because it was hard early on, it made it that much sweeter where I am now. So just try something new. And it'll be hard early on, but the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. You may hate it. Who cares? You tried it. This is still hard for me, making these videos, putting myself out there for someone who hated social media. And it's still a work in progress, as you can see here. But hopefully I'll get better at it, and it'll be more comfortable for me the more I do this. So get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Try something new, Put yourself out there and just see what happens. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video, comment if you have any questions. Go be limitless.